Out of all the metals of the Marvel Universe, vibranium is one of the most important, though for years it's always been overshadowed by adamantium thanks to a certain Canadian. In recent years though, vibranium has gotten some mainstream notoriety thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In fact, the only reason why vibranium is all over the place in the MCU is because Marvel doesn't have the movie rights to adamantium because Fox does. See, here's what's weird. Fox first used adamantium in X-Men 1 with Wolverine 15 years before Age of Ultron. Now, why is that important? Well, it's because that Ultron himself was the first time that adamantium even existed in the Marvel Comics, predating Wolverine by 5 whole years. And get this, Captain America's shield is made out of more than just vibranium, but we'll get to that in a moment. For now, let's take a look at the history and origins of vibranium and take a look at what it really is. First of all, we need to establish which metal that we're specifically talking about. In Doom War number 3, the Black Panther T'Challa states that there are 5 kinds of vibranium on Earth. However, there's only 2 currently known types in the comics, and there's a couple of synthetic knockoffs. Let's start with the one that you guys are most likely familiar with, which is also the most common, Wakandan vibranium. This is frequently called the rarest of all metals, since years ago a meteor of the stuff came from space and crashed into the African country of Wakanda. The radiation from the meteor affected Wakanda's plants and wildlife, most notably the heart-shaped herb that Black Panthers consume to gain their supernatural powers. The radioactive properties are dived into a bit more during a storyline of the Captain Marvel series, where it's revealed that vibranium miners can suffer from a lethal vibranium sickness. As for the non-radioactive properties, Wakandan vibranium is known for its ability to absorb heat, sound, kinetic energy, and vibrations, making it extremely useful for pretty much everything. Some of the iconic objects made out of vibranium that you might know are the Falcon's wings, Black Panther's suit, Claw's arm, and like everything in Wakanda. Captain America's shield is actually made out of an alloy of vibranium, steel, and an unknown third substance. Not even the shield's creator, Dr. Myron McClane, knows what this third thing is, since he fell asleep in his lab when it was added to the mix. This particular alloy was never recreated, but here's a fun fact. When trying to duplicate it, Dr. McClane instead invented adamantium. The natives of Wakanda used their vibranium to become the most technologically advanced nation in the world, and has always been decades ahead of everyone else. Just take a look at the 5th century. These guys think they're mighty with their spears and shields? That's adorable. Wakanda has machines that can fire so many spears at once that even Xerxes would be jealous. Though if the technology wasn't cool enough, the Wakandan vibranium can obviously only be found in Wakanda, which gives the country the largest GDP of the entire world. Reed Richards remarked that the Wakandan vibranium is worth $10,000 per gram. How much is there in Wakanda? Well, according to T'Challa, 10,000 tons. If you do the math, that means that the total value of all the vibranium in Wakanda is about $90.7 trillion. Yeah, just try to imagine that much cash. However, this surplus has been threatened multiple times. First, there was the vibranium cancer. This came about when Captain America's shield was broken by the Beyonder in Secret Wars, and then got repaired, but not perfectly. It turns out that just one of the vibranium molecules in the shield was misaligned, which started to affect the other molecules around it. The problem, though, is that the cancer wouldn't just stop at Cap's shield. It was starting to cause all of the vibranium in the world to explode. But after a quick fight with Claw, it was magically fixed. Because comics. There was also the Doom War, where Dr. Doom invaded Wakanda and stole all of the vibranium. Yes, Dr. Doom stole all 10,000 tons. See, it turns out that in addition to its absorbing properties, Wakandan vibranium can also amplify magic power. In fact, the metal is one of the few elements to exist in both the material and spiritual world at the same time. However, when it's used as a magical conduit, the metal becomes unstable, since it, quote, taps into an energy flow on the quantum level that's virtually infinite. In fact, when Dr. Doom used all the vibranium, he claimed that the power it gave him was more than the Silver Surfer's power cosmic and a cosmic cube. If you're not familiar with either of those, then let me make it simple for you. That's super freaking powerful. The only way to stop this souped up Dr. Doom was for Black Panther to render almost all of the vibranium inert. Although this saved the day, it effectively destroyed the Wakandan economy, but thankfully the nation still manages to strive by other means. Sadly, there's not much to the other varieties, so we're gonna just fly on through them. The only other type of vibranium of the supposed 5 is Antarctic Vibranium, also known as antimetal. This stuff came from a separate meteorite and is exclusively found in the Savage Land, a giant prehistoric area preserved for the sole purpose of Marvel being able to have dinosaurs in their comics. It's interesting to note that antimetal first appeared in Daredevil number 13, just a few months before Wakandan Vibranium made its debut in Fantastic Four number 53. Antarctic Vibranium gets its nickname antimetal due to the fact that this stuff emits vibrations that are so powerful that they cause the molecular bonds of any metal around it to weaken, melting the surrounding metal into a liquid. Heck, antimetal is so powerful that it can even melt adamantium. Now, let's move on to the synthetic vibraniums. The first is called Nuform, and was created by the Roxxon Energy Corporation as a cheaper alternative to Wakandan Vibranium. Though it seems just as effective on the surface, it was revealed that Nuform decays into antimetal unless it's treated by microwaves. Unfortunately though, the treatment merely delays the decay, and these days Nuform doesn't really exist, and all of the previous samples have turned into antimetal. Finally, there's Reverb Ium. Remember how Black Panther rendered most of the vibranium in Wakanda inert? Well, in an attempt to recreate it, Sajani Jafari of Horizon Labs created this new metal instead. Reverb Ium works in the exact opposite way of Wakandan Vibranium. Instead of absorbing vibration, heat, sound, and kinetic energy, Reverb Ium reflects and amplifies it. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, was the only one to figure out how to neutralize the Reverb Ium, and it earned him a job at Horizon. Unfortunately though, some of the small supply of Reverb Ium was stolen by the villain Hobgoblin for the villain Kingpin, who hoped to turn it into a weapon. Spider-Man was able to destroy the sample with antimetal, and Horizon Labs destroyed most of the rest. All that remains is a little bit that Sajani saved for herself, which appeared briefly in the Superior Spider-Man series. But it's unlikely that we'll ever see Reverb Ium ever again. And there you have it. Everything that you possibly would ever need to know about vibranium, and so much more. But hey, Black Panther is heavily associated with the stuff, so just click that annotation right here and you can watch his complete history. It's fun stuff. Oh, but do you guys want me to do one of these videos about adamantium? If yes, then click on Wolverine, and if no, then click on Claw. One last thing before I let you go. I want to give a huge thank you to all of you guys who are supporting me on Patreon. Without your help, I could not make this show. And if you aren't a contributor on Patreon, then if you think my videos are worth a damn, I would really appreciate it if you at least took a look at the description below and at least take a look at what I have to offer. I have all sorts of fun perks and rewards so I can give back to you guys while you're helping me do this. With your support, I can make more of these episodes more often and even higher quality. So thank you very much. Even if you're just watching this video or you can't contribute financially, it means a lot to me that I have your support and views. So thank you. Goodbye.